This thing is beautiful. I'm a happy camper. I'm a very happy camper. About as happy as that. So I just got this in the mail the other day, and I am so excited for this. This is How to Train Your Dragon in full score. I can't believe that we got this. Like, How to Train Your Dragon is one of my favorite scores of all time. And so to get the chance to go through this track by track and see how it's orchestrated, like, this is a dream come true for me. I know I'm going to learn so much just going through this book, and I'm really happy that Omni Music Publishing, who is the publisher behind this book, is making film scores widely available. Like, this is, you know, somewhat pricey. This is $85, but this is so worth it for me. I also really love how they timed the release of this book with the Deluxe Edition soundtrack. The fact that the cues match up perfectly, and this book even features a reference to the Deluxe Edition soundtrack, is really awesome. That makes this a really wonderful learning experience. To be able to go through track by track and like listening to it is going to be really awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm probably going to make a few videos talking about specific tracks and, I don't know, like orchestration techniques that I learned from this. I think that's a really good way to try and learn this, because I think it's very overwhelming to try and go track by track. Like, just looking at it, it's really easy to just look at it and not actually like retain any new information or learn any new orchestration techniques. But by like truly analyzing it and making videos about it, I think this will be a lot, it'll be like a huge learning experience for me. And something I really like about this is the little opening section that's like a score analysis. And this was really well done, by the way. Like, this opening section is what, like at least 10 pages long, probably even longer. And it goes track by track and gives little rundowns on like what each track does, or like it even tells you what all the main themes are and helps break it down for you. Like, this is a great place to start if you don't know how to analyze anything, or if you're overwhelmed with how much there is to this book. This is a great place to start. And I'm just really happy that Omni Music Publishing is making more film scores widely available. That's sort of my main topic for this video, is why aren't film scores normally published? I think the fact that How to Train Your Dragon has been published is hopefully an encouraging sign that we'll see more like big films published in full orchestral score. Like, up till now, Omni Music has published some big titles like Batman and Back to the Future, but these are all relatively like older films from the 80s and 70s and the 90s. I think How to Train Your Dragon, I would need to check this, but I think this is the newest film they've published. You know, obviously the film was released in 2010, and so I'm hopeful that we'll start seeing more new films published. But anyway, the conversation I wanted to have today is, why aren't film scores published? Like, outside of Omni Music Publishing, I can't really think of any real examples where an entire film score is published. You often have like little suites and arrangements that they do for Hal Leonard, that they often do for concerts and bands and things like that, but those aren't the full score. Those are just like the main tracks or the main themes, and they're often arranged by somebody else. It's very rarely that you get the actual score that was used in the album or in the film. And I think the main reason for that is probably because the studios, as opposed to the composers, are the ones who own the rights. I think if the composers own the rights, you'd probably see more of these published. But because the studios own them, and to them they probably don't see this as like a big market, and it's not really a big market. It's much more of a niche thing. And so because there isn't a whole lot of value to them, like monetary value, financial value, there's less of pressure for them to actually publish these, which is a shame, because I think Omni Music is showing that there is a viable niche for these. And I have no clue like what the profits are, or what I don't know anything about the financials of like how much it would cost to make these, like who gets paid for these, you know, if there even is a profit to be made here. But I think the fact that Omni Music keeps publishing them means that there's something here, there is an audience here. Even if no other company joins in on these, or if no other studios go out of their way to publish these, just the fact that Omni Music is seeking out these specific titles and getting them made is exciting enough. And something else I really love about Omni Music is, like, you can tell how much effort and how much love they put into these releases. For most of their releases, they have original artwork, like artwork that is unique to like this release. It's not just the album cover or the poster for the film. It's, in most cases, it is a unique cover. And I really love, like, this cover is really nice, but the Batman Returns cover is so beautiful. You can tell there's just a lot of effort and a lot of love put into this. One of my other favorite things about them is if you go to their site, you can see the origin of how all these books came to be, because it's a whole mess of legal issues and who owns the rights, and like producers coming in and saying, oh no, you can't publish that, and then changing their mind. It's a huge mess, and it's such a wonderful story to read about, especially knowing that it ends up, you know, with a happy ending. And I suppose the big question is, why does it matter? Like, why should we care about film scores getting published? I feel like film scores are sort of the natural successor to the classical symphonies that we've heard in the past. Like, yes, we still have modern symphony composers and modern works being published like in full concert score, but in terms of what like the majority of people hear, it's really film scores. Like, I think How to Train Your Dragon, for instance, is a great instance of that. Like, the theme from this film is one of the most iconic in the last, you know, in this current century. You'd be hard pressed to find a modern work of music, like classical, like modern classical music, that most people can recognize. And so this new medium, or whatever you want to call it, is definitely an important part of our culture. I think it matters to have these available in print. I was watching a video the other day, and they were talking about how back when film music was first introduced, there was very much not a backlash, but a hesitancy to call it like a real form of music. It's kind of like how we see with video game music, that a lot of people don't consider that to be real music, and that's really unfortunate, because you have a lot of composers creating great works of art through these new mediums, if you want to call them mediums. And so I think having them available as a full score matters. It helps solidify them as, hey, this isn't just a product made as part of a film, but this is also, it can be its own standalone piece of art. And of course, there's the whole matter of learning. I think this is a huge learning resource. It's not just, oh, Kiki. Hi, Kiki. She's cute. Like, yeah, this looks nice on your shelf, but it's also, it has a practical use. It's something that you can look through and always learn new things from. To me, this is infinitely more valuable and more useful than like the study of orchestration textbook. Even though that has like a lot of like facts and examples and things you should and shouldn't do, I think it's much more practical to have examples of those concepts being executed. Not to mention that for beginner composers like me, it's really nice to have one of your favorite scores of all time written down, so that you can go through and study it and see, like, why does this piece of music resonate with me so much? What is it about it that really stands out in my mind? And so I'm really hopeful that this means we'll be getting more of these. Like, Omni Music has been publishing these for a few years now, but I think this is probably the biggest title they've had yet, you know, since Batman or even Back to the Future. And I would really love another simultaneous release between like having like a deluxe edition and a full score book that line up, because this makes it for a really nice listening experience. Only problem is now I have to find a CD player, because I don't think I have a CD player anywhere in my house. Not even my car has a CD player anymore. And I'm hopeful that even if we don't get any other films, hopefully we'll at least get the entire How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. That'll be such a nice treat, and I am hopeful for it. You know, I heard that this thing sold out in like 2 hours, like once the announcement was made. And so it shows that there's a demand for this. And so I'm really hopeful that we'll see the other two films in the trilogy. And yeah, I'd love to know, like, what film scores are you interested in seeing published? I think Lord of the Rings is a no-brainer. That'd be a huge book, even just one film, especially if you include the extended editions. That'd be a massive book. I'd love to see Kung Fu Panda. Honestly, anything Alan Menken does is really good, but in particular, his Hunchback score. If there was one Disney film that I could get notated, it would be The Hunchback of Notre Dame, because that thing is a masterpiece. I love that score so much. Obviously, Star Wars is a big one. It's hard. I feel like Disney would be less inclined to post these. They seem much more protective of their IP. And so I'd be very shocked if we saw like any Disney films get this treatment. But I'm hopeful that even some DreamWorks films, you know, that'll be enough. Anyway, that's it for this video. I just kind of wanted to have a conversation about, you know, the scores being published. I'm so happy about this. I'm gonna be making a few videos like based on this thing. I'm thinking about making like piano reductions and score reductions and all kinds of fun orchestration videos, because I am in the process of learning how to orchestrate. I'm okay at it. I'm definitely better than when I started, but I have a lot to learn still, and so this is going to be a super valuable resource for me. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye. I forgot to add, whoa, hello, close-up. I saw that John Powell was super strict about like not posting anything about the score, from the score online, and so I'm trying to find a balance that I think is somewhat okay, because I understand that point of view completely, but I really want to like share some things that I've learned looking at this with other people. And so I think my solution is going to be, I'm just not going to show any of the actual like pages or any actual things from that. I'm just going to do like score reductions or you know, other form of reductions to sort of see that, kind of circumvent that problem. I think that's okay, and if not, someone will yell at me and I'll figure it out then. I think that's it. Whoa, hello, close up.